Deputy working with U.S. Marshals shot dead while serving a warrant. The suspect then jumping from a third-floor hotel window. The 150-mile chase, where they've now surrounded him, and we're on the scene tonight. Also breaking at this hour, President Trump's former campaign chairman in court for sentencing. All eyes right now on the judge. What will he do? Paul Manafort facing the longest sentence of anyone charged by Robert Mueller, and we'll go live to our correspondent on that. The verdict is in tonight after a deadly police shooting sparked national outrage. The plainclothes officer who showed up on the scene, a driver on the side of the road, the officer shoots and kills him. The driver's car broke down. He was calling for help. And tonight, what the jury has now decided. The major storm moving east tonight. Whiteout conditions, heavy rain. Rob Marciano on when this hits major travel hubs, New York, Philadelphia, and Boston. The chilling audio tonight never heard before. In the case of Chris Watts, the father and husband who killed his wife and 2 girls, the interview with interrogators, what his daughter said to him. Just in tonight, the alarming images, the officer trying to stop this driver, the car reported stolen, taking a dangerous turn. The major headline tonight on gas prices, goodbye to $2 a gallon, and the baseball star who just revealed his very personal battle.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on this Thursday night. And we begin tonight with the breaking news, that urgent manhunt for the suspect who shot and killed a deputy working with U.S. Marshals. That suspect was surrounded, and we've just learned moments ago he's now under arrest. He was taken into custody a short time ago. This all began in Rockford, Illinois. Dozens of officers rushing to the scene, the suspect jumping from that third-floor hotel window, leading police on a high-speed chase, then facing off with police. In the middle of snowy weather, it was difficult to even see. But tonight, authorities moments ago said they have their man, and ABC's Tom Yamas is on the scene for us.
Tonight, a standoff between officers and an armed fugitive accused of shooting a sheriff's deputy.
Be advised, officers are in distress at that location.
It started just after 9 a.m. U.S. Marshals from a fugitive task force arriving at this extended stay hotel in Rockford, Illinois, to serve an arrest warrant.
They were fired upon by the suspect. One of the marshals was hit.
Police say the suspect also shot a woman inside the hotel room, someone he knew. As the victims were raced to the hospital, officers from multiple agencies surrounding the hotel. But the suspect, identified as 39-year-old Floyd Brown, got away, jumping out of a third-floor window, fleeing in his silver Mercury Marquis, rifle in hand.
We're stopped on 152, 115 miles an hour.
After that shooting, the alleged gunman able to get a jump on police, driving more than an hour and a half from Rockford here to Lincoln. The standoff happening just behind us, and it's been going on for hours. Police shutting down a portion of the interstate. Brown barricaded himself in his car.
He has multiple times opened his door as if he was going to come out, but subsequently shut the door and remained barricaded.
And amid the standoff, news the deputy who Brown shot died in the hospital.
So let's get to Tom Yamas with us live from the scene tonight. And Tom, as we said at the top of the broadcast there, the suspect now arrested, in custody tonight?
That's right, David. The takedown happened just moments ago. Behind me, you can see in the distance those flashing lights. And we were so far away because the scene was so dangerous. State troopers launching at least 3 flashbangs, stunning that suspect. That's when the SWAT team moved in. They took him out on a stretcher, David. He is alive, and police say tonight he will be charged with that deputy's murder.
All right,
David?
Tom Yamas, who's been on the scene all afternoon long. Tom, our thanks to you. The other major story developing as we're on the air tonight, President Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, and his sentencing. All eyes on the judge right now and what he'll do. Manafort facing the longest sentence of anyone charged by special counsel Robert Mueller. Just moments ago, Manafort addressing the court asking for, quote, compassion, while prosecutors said Manafort did not provide any information they didn't already know. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas at the courthouse tonight.
Tonight, the extraordinary fall of President Trump's campaign chairman capped with his sentencing.
Paul Manafort has done an amazing job. He's here someplace. Where's Paul? Paul Manafort.
The veteran political strategist brought to court in a wheelchair today. He faces the most prison time of anyone charged by special counsel Robert Mueller, after he was convicted of an elaborate financial scheme, including crimes like bank and tax fraud. Paul Manafort tried to play both sides. After agreeing to cooperate with Mueller's investigators, he then secretly had his lawyers keep up communication with the president's legal team, and he kept online. The special counsel found out, and the cooperation deal, which could have meant a reduced sentence, was off. Manafort was not charged with anything related to possible collusion with the Russians, but Mueller's team recently said that in 2016, Manafort shared campaign polling data with a Russian associate with ties to Russian intelligence. President Trump has kept his distance.
Paul Manafort worked for me for a very short period of time.
Still, the president also painting Manafort as a victim.
He happens to be a very good person, and I think it's very sad what they've done to Paul Manafort.
But will that translate into a presidential pardon? Late last year, the president saying, "It was never discussed, but I wouldn't take it off the table. Why would I take it?"
Pierre Thomas with us live tonight from the courthouse in Alexandria, Virginia. And Pierre, I know there's also news tonight about the president's former fixer, Micheal Cohen. Cohen is now suing the Trump organization for nearly $4 million. He's trying to make the case, claiming they should pay his legal bills, that they agreed to that in the past, something Cohen told Congress last week. Also under scrutiny tonight, this was about whether he had ever asked for a pardon. And remember, here's what Cohen had said.
I have never asked for, nor would I accept, a pardon from President Trump.
So, Pierre, tonight we're learning that Micheal Cohen actually did have his lawyer ask about a pardon?
David, it's a growing controversy. Cohen's attorneys say that he explored the possibility of a pardon, but that he never officially asked for one. Republicans are not buying it, and some are saying Cohen made another false statement before Congress and should be prosecuted, David.
All right, Pierre Thomas with us live tonight. Pierre, thank you. We turn next to Palm Beach County, Florida. A former police officer convicted tonight in the shooting death of musician Corey Jones, whose car had broken down. He was calling for roadside assistance when Officer Newman Raja, in plain clothes and driving an unmarked van, showed up on the scene, shot and killed him. Tonight, Corey Jones's family now believes that the recording of that phone call, that roadside assistance call, made all the difference in the case. Here's ABC's Victor Akendo.
Tonight, fired Florida police officer Newman Raja put in handcuffs, convicted for killing 31-year-old Corey Jones.
This was about the truth, and the truth caught up with him.
The night Jones was killed back in 2015, his SUV had broken down on an exit ramp off I-95 in Palm Beach Gardens. He was returning home from a music performance.
This guy's trying to kill me, and I didn't want to die.
Raja was in those clothes working on an unrelated case nearby when he pulled up next to Jones.
The second I said police, he jumped back, and I clearly remember him drawing and pointing a gun at me.
In this video reenactment filmed hours after Jones's death, Raja claimed he identified himself as a cop, opening fire after Jones, who was legally licensed to carry a weapon, pulled out his gun. But Raja was unaware that Jones was on the phone with roadside assistance.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Prosecutors say that tape proved Raja never identified himself to Jones, who may have feared he was being robbed. The all-white jury agreed.
The jury convicting Newman Raja of manslaughter. That roadside assistance call, a crucial piece of evidence. Tonight, Raja's defense team says they may appeal. David?
All right, Victor, thank you. And next here tonight to the relentless winter storms, the new system now headed for the Northeast, New York, Philly, Boston, all in the path. And tonight, the extreme avalanche danger in Colorado. 2 avalanches just today, shutting down a major interstate. We have the track of this system, and here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
Tonight, that winter storm bringing dangerous avalanches to the Colorado Rockies. Late reports of vehicles trapped on Highway 91. Avalanches today already trapping a tow truck in Vail Pass, rupturing a gas line in Copper Mountain, and shutting down part of I-70.
I've been doing my business for about 30 years, and I've never seen it like this.
Crews deliberately triggering avalanches to try and reduce the risk.
The Colorado Avalanche Information Center says we're seeing historic activity.
Extreme or high danger in 9 of 10 backcountry zones, including Aspen, Vail, and Breckenridge. Authorities fearing more scenes like this one Sunday. A wall of snow crashing down onto vehicles, including the Goldman families.
I don't see how you can see it as anything other than miraculous that we survived that the way we did.
Officials in Colorado declaring historic avalanche conditions and warning people to stay away from prone areas. And here in California, we have so much snow that some ski areas will stay open through July. David?
Wow, all right, Kana, thank you. That avalanche risk growing even worse tonight, as Kana reported, and that major storm now headed east. So let's get right to meteorologist Rob Marciano, tracking it all for us again tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. More snow coming for the Rockies and high winds with that powerful storm. So we have those avalanche warnings remain in effect. Winter storm warnings up for Vail and Aspen. A little light snow for the Ohio River Valley, but the big players coming out of the Rockies, no doubt about that. That's going to be the severe weather player on Saturday for the Mid-South and some of the areas that got hit with tornadoes last weekend. Heavy snow north, heavier rain. Chicago, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia on Sunday starting out as snow in New England, but then turning to rain. We're warming up at least. David?
Rob Marciano with us tonight. Rob, thank you. Next tonight, singer R.Kelly, just 24 hours after that explosive interview. R.Kelly jumping out of his chair. Tonight, he is facing a new allegation of sexual abuse. He's also behind bars now for owing child support. That explosive interview he gave, he actually said he defended himself against the demand for money, while those two young women who live with him make new claims against their own parents. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
Robert, what do you want people to know? There is more trouble tonight for the self-described Pied Piper of R&B. Investigators in Detroit say they're looking into a new allegation of criminal sexual conduct, this time with a 13-year-old in 2001. R.Kelly's people were hoping to get him out of jail this evening by paying off nearly $162,000 he owes in back child support. But the check is late.
How can I pay child support? How? If my ex-wife is destroying my name and I can't work.
Your ex-wife says you abused her, Robert.
13 lies.
In his interview with CBS News, Kelly went after his ex-wife.
I'm not disrespecting her by saying she's not telling the truth. I'm just being honest. Somebody sent me something on my phone and it said that I hog-tied her.
I don't know how to hog-tie people. What would I hog-tie?
Kelly was asked about 21-year-old Azriel Clary and 23-year-old Joycelyn Savage, whose parents say the young women cut them off for a life with the singer.
I love them, and it's like they're my girlfriends. It's like, you know, we have a relationship.
And now we're hearing from the two young women.
Both of our parents are basically out here. They're trying to get money and scam.
In the explosive Lifetime documentary that attracted the law's attention, Clary's parents say they believe the singer first had sex with their daughter when she was 17.
We found some really disturbing text messages between them. They had sex in Florida that first time they met.
Both women say their parents are lying and trying to extort money from their famous boyfriend.
That is a lie. I was not having sex with him at 17.
The families of both young women are responding this evening, saying they never asked R.Kelly for a single penny.
David? Steve Osunsami with us tonight. Thank you, Steve. We turn overseas tonight. We have reported here on President Trump wanting U.S. forces out of Syria. The president does acknowledge now a small military footprint is necessary. And tonight, look at these new images. Hundreds of ISIS fighters leaving the last territory they still hold in Syria. And this evening, a top U.S. commander with a new warning. Here's ABC senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell tonight.
Tonight, hundreds of desperate and defeated ISIS fighters stumbling to surrender. Many of their families now huddled in makeshift camps, dirty and hungry. But many still defiant. And tonight, with the level of U.S. troops in Syria set to drop from 3,000 to 400, a new warning from the head of U.S. Central Command.
What we are seeing now is not the surrender of ISIS as an organization, but a calculated decision to preserve the safety of their families and preservation of their capabilities in going to ground in remote areas and waiting for the right time to resurge.
We've been covering the fight in Syria for years.
You've got local forces backed by the United States taking the battle to ISIS militants.
From a so-called caliphate that once stretched across large swaths of Syria and Iraq, what remains is the small village of Baghouz, just 1 square mile.
U.S. commanders warning there could still be as many as 20,000 ISIS fighters still in Iraq, and that unless the U.S. and others come up with a plan, the seeds of extremism will continue to grow. David?
Ian Pannell tonight. Thank you, Ian. Back here at home into the economy now. Gas prices on the rise. AAA tonight saying the average price for a gallon of gas is now $2.45, a 17-cent jump in just the last month. Analysts expect the cost to keep rising through spring, hitting an average, they say, of about $3 a gallon by the summer. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Thursday. The baseball star who just revealed his own personal battle. Also ahead, the alarming images just in tonight. The officer trying to stop this driver. The car reported stolen. It takes a very dangerous turn. Also, the chilling audio tonight. Never heard before in the case of Chris Watts, the father and husband who killed his wife and 2 girls. The interview with interrogators, what his daughter said to him. And the outpouring for Alex Trebek tonight. What Trebek recently said about his own wife and the one wish he has when it comes to his marriage. A lot more news ahead tonight. We turn next tonight here to a chilling piece of audio never heard before. Newly released recordings of Chris Watts being interrogated. He's the father who murdered his own wife and girls. And tonight, it is impossible to imagine how any father could share what he did about what his little girl said. Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell.
It's a dark and disturbing dive into the mind of triple murderer Chris Watts, heard in a newly released interview with investigators.
That doesn't make sense. That's why I know you guys keep asking these questions, because it doesn't make sense to me.
His wife, Shanann, 15 weeks pregnant, seen here coming home from a business trip in August. Watts says they argued. She accused him of cheating and told him this.
Never going to see the kids again. Never going to see them again. Get off me. Don't hurt today.
Watts says that triggered him into a rage. He says Shanann did not fight back as he strangled her to death.
I just felt like there was already something in my mind that was implanted that I was going to do it, and I woke up that morning and it was going to happen, and I had no control of it.
The couple's daughters, Watts says, woke to see their mother face down in bed, wrapped in a sheet.
So what happened, Bill? What she said.
Watts says he drove his wife's body from their Frederick, Colorado home to a remote oil field, his girls sitting in the back seat. There, Watts says he strangled 3-year-old Celeste and 4-year-old Bella.
She said, what happened to Cece? The exact same thing what happened to me as Cece. She said, soft voice, she always said.
Watts tells investigators he knew his TV interviews a day later were unconvincing.
Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Some people said it just made it look even worse. It didn't look good.
Watts pleaded guilty to all 3 murders, he says, to give Shanann's family closure, but he also avoided the death penalty. He'll spend the rest of his life in a prison cell where he says he keeps a picture of his wife and daughters on the wall. David?
Just an awful story. All right, Clayton Sandell tonight. Clayton, thank you. When we come back, the baseball star who just revealed his very personal battle. And Alex Trebek tonight, his recent words about his wife and his one wish. And we're going to have more on that suspect, that stolen car, the officer who tells him to stop. It then takes a sudden and dangerous turn. The driver does not stop. Back in a moment. Next up, other news tonight. In graphic video just released this evening showing the dangers officers face. This officer trying to stop a driver after a reported stolen car. The officer yelling, telling him to stop. You can see the driver then appears to keep going. He hits the officer with the vehicle. The officer opening fire there. The suspect is killed. There is a review of the case now underway. We brought you Alex Trebek's message last night, his courageous fight now against pancreatic cancer. There has been an outpouring of support for Trebek. He's hosted Jeopardy since 1984. 2 months before learning his diagnosis, he told People magazine, quote, "I'm pretty satisfied with my life," but that he wishes he'd met Jean, his wife of 29 years, much earlier so that they could, quote, have a longer life together. Trebek says he will keep working and he will fight this. Hall of Fame pitcher Tom Seaver tonight has revealed his own personal battle. His family says the 74-year-old Mets legend has been diagnosed with dementia. He will retire from public life. Seaver won 3 Cy Young Awards and 311 games during his career, and we wish him well. When we come back here tonight, the handyman who hit the jackpot. He made us laugh today when he explained how this nearly did not happen. Finally tonight here, the handyman who used to wonder if I had $1 million. Tonight he's won more than $270 million, but it almost didn't happen.
So Michael Worski is a handyman from New Jersey who'd been looking for work. He might not have to anymore. $273 million, and he wants that Ford pickup first.
First thing I'm doing is buying my new pickup, Ford Raptor. It's something I wanted for a long time, and I'm going to get it.
But it almost didn't happen. After buying 2 tickets at this quick check store, he left them behind.
Put the tickets down to put my money away and did something with my phone and just walked away.
A good Samaritan, a very good Samaritan, turned them into the store clerk. Mike went back the next day after realizing he'd left them there.
I was just very thankful that there was an honest person out there because I figured it was gone. Just so happens that we got lucky. Actually, twice.
The money will help.
It's going to change everything because I was unemployed. So I've been looking for just about a year for a job.
He says he was a bum in high school, a bum after, and now a beach bum.
I always wanted to know what it would be like to be able to just wake up and decide to go somewhere or go buy something and just do it. And when I get the money, I'm going to do that.
Good for you, Mike, playing every week for years. But there was a time he had to stop.
Money got tight, so I stopped for a while. 2 weeks ago, before I won, I started playing again.
And Michael says if he ever meets that Good Samaritan, he's going to share a little of that cash, but that'll keep that private. Hey, Mike, I was at that Quick Check store. Just kidding. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow night. Congrats. Good night.